Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Darrell Brooks saga. On today's episode, we're gonna see the aftermath of Picturegate, where Mr. Darrell tried to prove that Erica is a liar just because she allegedly sent some pictures. I don't get why that's relevant, but let's see what's happening now. We're after lunch. So hopefully you guys had a good lunch today.
In my almost 11 years on the bench, I've presided over dozens and dozens of cases that have gone to trial. To say that this has been the most challenging of my career would be an understatement. I have done my best, I believe, to be fair, to be unbiased, to protect the rights of not only Mr. Brooks as it relates to this trial, but those of witnesses, those of the victims, and of course, last but not least, the jurors. He repeatedly references things such as subject matter jurisdiction, which there is a written decision that I have filed in this case. It is very clear this court has subject matter jurisdiction over this case. He has a pattern now of directly confronting the court, asking for, is that verified law? Can you prove that? Is that an actual law? I actually dismissed the jury in order to try.
I really like that he's just like the way that he shows his anger is that he just ignores it because he can listen to everything that's going on. I don't buy 1 second that he's deaf.
To get an offer of proof from Mr. Brooks. And as that exchange went on, it got, from my perspective, he got louder, he got more disrespectful. I think it's fair to say his behavior was volatile, and it's because of that that I called an early lunch. And it's because of all of those things. Even when I attempt to give the warning that he will be removed upon further behavior, he immediately interrupts and says, "Are you holding me in contempt?" A very clear indication to this court that he is attempting and trying and actually disrupting the proceedings so that I can't make an accurate record.
It's true.
Like I said, it's challenging. That is why he is in the other courtroom muted. Because he came in to the courtroom this afternoon and is not in here but in an adjacent courtroom, I want to make some additional findings as well and kind of just tie up a few loose ends for the record. Mr. Brooks's behavior today alone was disruptive. I would absolutely characterize it as stubbornly defiant. It was interruptive, and it certainly aggravates the proper administration of the criminal justice system, of this trial. There was nothing dignified about it. There was nothing orderly about it. I would remind him once again of SCR Chapter 62, which are the basic expectations of courtesy and decorum in the courts in the state of Wisconsin. I'd remind him of the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Be respectful. Be kind. Give these proceedings the due respect that they deserve for himself. I do not believe he even shows respect for that. I will ask Mr. Brooks for an offer of proof. He will be brought in. So we'll go off the record for that momentarily. An offer of proof, if he wishes to do that, related to the letter and further questioning. I also want an offer of proof as to what probative and relevant information Ms. Patterson will be testifying to based on his direct examination. This is a witness who was called by the state initially. This is a witness where Mr. Brooks had a full and fair opportunity to cross-examine her on a prior date. He was allowed to call her himself. The vast majority of the testimony today has been a rehashing and a representation of her testimony from the other day. With that, I am going to take a very short recess to have Mr. Brooks brought back into this courtroom so that we can continue with testimony and evidence. Thank you. I'm going to ask you if you are ready to answer my questions from previously and also to let me know whether you are asking to stay in that courtroom.
he really think that he's winning by not paying attention to her. Like, that's not how it works.
I've been advised he can hear and see.
Yep.
Mr. Brooks, we are on the record. I'll go through the topics one by one. You are in the other courtroom. You are invited back here. Would you like to come back here? Yes or no?
Ah. Now he's like, are we back on record? Yes.
The audio is on. Would you like to come back to this courtroom, sir?
You're unmuted.
So I'm finally unmuted.
You've been unmuted for a while. Since I came back on. My understanding, sir, is you'd like to be in that other courtroom. Is that true?
Now he has to do the little theatric about the headphones, which I don't get why.
Record to reflect, he's putting on the headphones.
What's going on?
Mr. Brooks, I'm inviting you back to the courtroom. My understanding from a relay of information from the bailiffs is that you don't want to come back here.
I ain't saying nothing.
All right, are you ready to come back then?
Not if I'm just gonna get held in contempt again.
I didn't hold you in contempt.
Then why am I even over here?
So that I could make a ruling and make a record without an interruption, pursuant to my authority in Illinois versus Allen.
There you go.
So did you make your record?
I did.
Am I ever gonna get a chance to make the record without being interrupted?
No.
Mr. Brooks, I'm asking you, the first question is, do you want to come back into this courtroom?
Not if you're gonna hold me in contempt.
Sir, I need to continue with the trial. So if you don't answer yes or no, then I will presume you want to be in that courtroom, and you'll, by your conduct, waive your right to be in this courtroom.
By what conduct? I didn't consent to
By
being held
failing
in
to
contempt.
answer my question, sir. So I'll ask you again.
Are you gonna hold me in contempt? I don't want to be held in contempt.
I will ask you again, sir. Would you like to come back to this courtroom?
I'm supposed to be in there anyway.
Yes or no?
So twice now
This is just a yes or no question. You want to be there? Yes. You want to be there? No. That's it. Just
asked him. He has not answered a yes or no. Mr. Brooks, I'll ask you a third time. Would you like to come back into this courtroom?
Yes, if you're not gonna hold me in contempt.
Given his yes, I will close the courtroom. He'll be brought over, and then we'll continue when he comes into this courtroom. Thank you.
I don't get why he has to be a baby about it.
To being called that name.
Alright, let's move to the next part.
That I need to make. All right, let's take up the issue of the letter and the photographs and your offer of proof, sir, if you have one.
I don't need no offer of proof.
I'll ask you a second time. Do you have an offer of proof to
go
provide,
past all
sir?
that. We can go past all that. I don't need to ask them questions. It's too much of an issue. It's too much of a problem.
Mr. Brooks, I'm going to ask you for a third time. Do you have an offer of proof
I
related
just said
to
no.
the
I just said no. I just said that.
All right, thank you. Then based upon there being no offer of proof, then my decision stands.
And the reason why he doesn't have an offer of proof is because that letter doesn't exist. And if it exists, it's before the 21st. So it's irrelevant.
as to the continuation of the examination of Ms. Patterson, I would like an offer of proof as to what you believe her probative and relevant testimony will be from this point forward.
I mean, I don't know how she's going to answer the rest of the questions. There's not that many questions left. I was almost done.
What topics generally were you going to question her about?
I guess I'll have to look in here because so much that happened since over the past hour and a half or so.
You're supposed to be prepared. These are your witnesses. So you should have like a list of questions that you want to ask.
I can tell you one thing. I don't intend to have too many more questions. I'll tell you that. I was almost finished.
I need an offer of proof as to what you believe her testimony would be, meaning what topics? And are they topics that have not already been covered either through her direct examination from the state, your cross-examination, or already covered by your direct?
I don't remember her. What do you mean by related to her direct? Is that from the last time she testified?
From the first date that she testified and from today. What
remember,
new topics will
I don't
you be?
remember everything she testified to the first time. It was 2 weeks ago.
Well, she's
I don't remember what she testified. Well, I guess you should have been paying attention and writing stuff down. I remember.
already been questioned now twice by you. So what new topics do you intend to question her about when she comes back on the witness stand?
What do you mean by new topics?
Topics that you haven't already covered.
What, pursuant to the police report or something? Is that what you're asking?
No,
I don't understand.
I'm asking you what you believe your questioning will be as to Ms. Patterson going forward.
And you say it related to topics, right?
You can just give me the topics. I think that's fair.
I wanted to ask questions about the police reports.
The police report is not a topic. What about the police report?
That was the last few questions. That's why I'm saying it was only...
Is it a statement that she wrote?
I don't know if it's a statement that she wrote in here. Possibly is.
Do you see a written statement with her signature
I
on
will
it?
have to go through all the paperwork.
Is there a written statement from Ms. Patterson? It's my understanding.
He's so frustrated he couldn't stall more. She can just ask the state and just be like, no, there's not. There you go.
Detective Guth spoke to her on both occasions, is that right?
Yes, with Detective Barrett with him on the first occasion. Detective Barrett wrote that first report.
What about the police report, sir? Do you want to question her about so I know with specificity?
How many officers did reports? Because it seemed like it's more than just 2. At least from this paperwork, is more than 2.
May I have Bill show me what Mr. Brooks is referring to? I can maybe help him try and explain, but
Sure.
I don't know what he's talking about.
I can't find the first page to that, but whoever that officer is right there. I have to snatch it.
Snatch it? She just took the paper that you gave her that, so... What do you mean snatch her? Snatch it. She just took it and passed it along.
So I've got pages 2 and 3 out of 6 from Detective Barrett's report under Waukesha Police Department incident number 21-047533. This is one of the 2 reports we've been talking about regarding the statements that Ms. Patterson gave to detectives on November 21st and then on November 22nd. This is the first statement.
Is that the officer you just said?
Yes.
How many
What
more
about that
officers?
report do you want to question this witness about?
The report is not in order, so again, as I stated before, I would have to read it
Mr. Brooks, I trust that you're prepared. These are your witnesses. So what questions, what about that report do you want to question Ms. Patterson on?
He doesn't know.
Your Honor, I just stated 3 times I would have to read a little bit of this to form the questions.
No.
Under my authority, under 906.11, then, and given that this witness was initially called by the state, there was a full and fair opportunity for cross-examination by Mr. Brooks at that time, and they had ample time this morning to question her. I will declare that his questioning of her to be closed. I will bring the witness out on the witness stand and then we'll bring the jury out, and then I will simply ask the state if there are any questions, and then we'll move on from there.
Just so I understand what you mean by closed.
I'm not allowing you to ask her any additional questions, given your full and fair opportunity that you had previously when she was called by the state, and given the opportunity you had this morning and your failure to identify for this court any probative and relevant information that she would testify to about what's in that report.
How do I, first of all, the report isn't even in order. So I would have to,
Why you don't have it in order? It's your papers. You're the one that moves it around a lot. So it's your fault that that's not in order. And then you have to prepare questions beforehand, not at that time.
essentially read at least some of it to even ask a
Mr. Brooks,
question.
this is your witness. I expect that you will be prepared and you will not cause delay by any lack thereof. So I'm bringing the witness out, the jury will come out, and you will not have another opportunity to ask any additional questions unless the state asks questions on cross-examination.
So what is we bringing the witness out for?
I
then
have
if
to do
can't?
that in front of the jury.
Man,
I object to that ruling too. Can you give me a lawful law why?
Your objection is noted for the record. If you start interrupting me when the jury comes out or make any commentary, you will be removed to the other courtroom, and that's.
So I'm being held in contempt again?
no.
No, it's not contempt, sir. It's a finding under Illinois versus Allen. It's a warning that you will forfeit your right
So I might
to
as
be
well
present.
just I might as well have just
No
stayed
such
over there.
contempt finding.
I might as well have just stayed over there then if I was
Mr.
going to get held in
Brooks,
contempt.
that decision is for you and you alone to make, and it is based on your conduct. If you're going to
Just
continue,
take me over there. Just take me over there because I'm not finna get held in contempt for nothing.
I have not held you in contempt.
You did.
You're
You're attempting to hold me in contempt.
Nope.
That's what that is.
No, that's not contempt.
So is it civil or criminal? Why am I being
Mr.
held in
Brooks?
contempt?
I'm
That's
going to
the-
keep
that's
you
the
in
whole-
here because
that's the whole reason
you're going
I
to need
didn't
to
wanna
call
come-
the next witness, and I'm going to need
Your
to
Honor.
bring you over in any event.
That's the whole reason why I didn't want to come over here because you was gonna find a reason to hold me in contempt.
Well, I'm finding a reason, and it's not contempt, but I'd find a reason to remove you based upon your disruptive
Well, then
outbursts
remove me if
and
that's
your-
what you want to do. Remove me then.
I don't want to do it, sir. I want
Obviously
you
you
in
do.
this courtroom.
Obviously you do. You brought it up before we can even get to.
All right.
Again, he's gaslighting this whole thing. He's trying to make her the villain, make her the reason why he's getting held in contempt, which he should. But I understand why he's not. But yeah.
Mr. Brooks has forfeited his right to be present in this courtroom for the remainder of this witness. Even
So
though
did
it will be
I
short,
actually forfeit that right?
you have
Yes.
forfeited your right to be present.
And
As
how
the-
did I forfeit that right, Your Honor?
By your conduct.
We're going off the record so that he can be removed to the other courtroom.
Take him out.
And he can call his next witness after we complete with Ms. Patterson and giving the state an opportunity from the neighboring courtroom. And once you can promise to this court that you will abide by the rules of decorum and civility, and if you're willing to conduct yourself consistently within that, then I will allow you to come back over.
So why am I being held in contempt now?
I'm not holding you in contempt.
Then what did I do?
All right, I'm going to step off. You've interrupted repeatedly. You are unmuted, sir. The jury is on its way in. Well, will be shortly.
Why didn't we address subject matter jurisdiction when I was over here?
I'm going to
Again.
mute you if you do that, sir.
I'm not gonna do it when the jury. That's why I asked now before the jury came in.
I addressed that in my opening type remarks and record when we came back on the record today. I already addressed that.
Yeah.
So will it be proven for the record? Will I at least be told why I'm held in contempt when I didn't do nothing? Civil or criminal?
That's a misstatement of what I did, sir.
So why am I
I
over
will
here?
advise when the jury's coming in, and if you can't be quiet, you're going to be muted, sir.
You
Mute him.
don't mute me anyway.
Yeah.
Not if you're quiet.
So I gotta be quiet like a little kid?
Yes.
It's not what I said, sir. You have to be
Yes, because you are a little kid right now.
respectful.
That's what you said.
You have to be respectful of the proceedings.
But nobody has to be respectful to me though.
That's a mischaracterization as well.
So can I say for the record that two of your bailiffs was just making gestures behind my head and I seen them through the TV screen and made me feel uncomfortable?
What gestures? He's just saying stuff now.
Jury's coming in. Please rise for the jury.
So that's not gonna be addressed.
Mr.
Okay?
Brooks, I'm muting you.
Good.
Thank you, everyone. Please be seated.
Notice that he doesn't have the headphones in that, and he's been speaking like regularly to her.
Just for the record, Mr. Brooks is appearing from another courtroom. That should not affect your deliberation or verdicts in any way. At this time, does the state have any questions for this witness?
I don't have any questions for Ms. Patterson.
All right. Thank you, ma'am. You may step down. Thank you for being here. All right, the defense may call its next witness, please.
Is he still muted? Or he's just not saying anything?
Go ahead, sir. You can call your next witness.
I thought I was muted.
You're not muted.
So how long am I supposed to stay in here now?
I'm going to excuse the jury. We'll hopefully have you back shortly. All right, the jury is no longer in the courtroom. Do you want to come back into this courtroom as you call your next witness?
Yes or no question?
You're not muted. You're unmuted.
Here we go with the headphones again.
So what's going on now? Why am I being held in contempt yet again?
The record will reflect that pursuant to Illinois versus Allen, Mr. Brooks was not held in contempt. I found that you forfeited your right to be present based upon your conduct. I'd also direct the parties to some persuasive authority from other jurisdictions that are more recent, including People versus Cone from the state of Colorado, 160 P. 3rd 366. It's a Colorado Court of Appeals from 2007. And then from the state of Washington, from their Supreme Court, State versus Davis, 461 P. 3rd 1204. That's from 2020. And then I'd remind the parties of the district court decision that was later affirmed from Pennsylvania, U.S. versus Jennings, 855 F. Sup. 1427 from 1994. The finding was, sir, that you forfeited your right to be present based upon your conduct.
Okay.
There you go.
all those,
She just laid out all the law that she's relying to make for him to do this. Not contempt, just all the law that there is.
case laws you just cited are pursuant to that.
All of them.
Sir, I will ask you, would you like to come back into this courtroom as you continue with the calling of witnesses and your next witness?
I thought you was using Illinois versus Allen.
Yeah.
You are
Oh,
welcome to
that
come
as
back
well.
into this courtroom, sir.
So why was I removed in the first place then?
I've made my findings. The record will stand. I will ask you one last time. Would you like to come back into this courtroom as you call your next witness?
You're not finna hold me in contempt no more. Not finna do that.
Mr. Brooks is not answering my question directly, so based upon that, I'll advise him that if I will ask one more time and he fails to answer it with a yes or no, I will take that as a no, that he wants to stay in that courtroom.
You can't
So,
answer
Mr.
for
Brooks?
me. You can't
She can.
do that. You can't do that.
Mr. Brooks, I'm advising
Yes,
you
he
that I
can.
will, he's interrupting me once again from
Okay,
the other
you talking.
courtroom.
You the one talking right now, so don't do that.
I'm going to
No.
mute him because he's not being respectful and he's just spouting off. I will give him one more opportunity so that it's abundantly clear on this record that I am honoring his right to be present, and I will unmute him. Sir, would you like to come back into this courtroom as you call your
No.
next witness?
Don't try to seem like you trying to honor my rights now because you haven't
Okay,
been doing
he
it before.
is, again, not
Don't-
answering the
don't-
question
don't try to
directly.
put on no. Don't.
I'm going to mute him again. Mr. Brooks, before I unmute you, I am going to advise you, I will ask you
Again.
to call your next witness. And if I don't get a direct response out of you, I may ask it again. And if you fail to give me a direct response, then you will forfeit your right to call any other witnesses. So I'm going to unmute you. Actually, I need to bring the jury back out. But before I do that, I will unmute you first and ask you which witness you intend to call so we can at least have that person ready to go and outside the courtroom. Who will be your next witness?
I'm not calling no witness if I got to be in this other courtroom.
You don't have
Would
to.
you like to come back into this courtroom, sir?
Why was I ever removed? You
Again.
never answered-
I've
I
made
gotta
a record
answer
of that,
everything.
sir.
I have to answer everything though.
Yes.
Everything you ask me, you expect me to answer, but then when I ask you questions, you never have to answer anything. I just put on the record that 2 of your bailiffs just made gestures. When I'm looking at them off the reflection of the screen, they're making gestures behind my head that make me feel uncomfortable. I just brought that up on the record. You didn't even address that.
Mr. Brooks, I didn't address it because frankly you keep interrupting me and then I have to deal with the interruptions and make a record regarding that. So I just saw the captain walk over. I will let security personnel, Captain Dussault, look into that, and if appropriate, he can bring that conduct to my attention. I'd also remind the defendant that at any time you can also ask to be brought over through the bailiffs who are in that courtroom. So to be abundantly fair to you, I will ask one more time, would you like to come back over to this courtroom?
Just say yes, please.
I should have never been removed.
That's not answering my question, sir.
You haven't answered my question.
The court's not going to answer questions directed at the court by the defendant because they're not relevant or probative at this time, and they're a delay and disruptive tactic.
They're
Mr.
not a delay
Brooks,
and disruptive
They are.
tactic. Is that a judicial determination that you're making?
I'm going to mute you because we're going off on the judicial determinations. Every decision I make, sir, is by definition a judicial determination.
Thank you. Thank you for saying that. I wish that she would say that more. Is that everything they do is a judicial determination. Come on. I'm the judge.
It is on the record. If there is a conviction, you can raise whatever issues you want on appeal if you are convicted. But we don't need to have this back and forth every time to further make the record when the record speaks for itself.
Thank you.
I would like you to be present. That is always what I want during this case. It certainly, I think, is important. But you can forfeit your right to be present by your conduct, which you have done repeatedly throughout this case. I will advise you that if you are in that courtroom, because I have put you there and you have not reclaimed the right to be present by number one, asking and then expressing a willingness to conduct yourself consistently with decorum and respect inherent in the concepts of courts and judicial proceedings, you will remain over there. And it looks like he took his headphones off, so I would. Mr. Brooks, I'm advising you that if you fail to call a witness, you will forfeit your right to present any additional witnesses. And I'm doing this outside the presence of the jury right now for a reason. I need to know from you right now, you are unmuted, who is your next witness?
She trying to say something to me?
Now he listens. when she's like, okay, you're not gonna get more witnesses. Then she's like, oh, what's going on?
What you trying to say?
Wow.
That was very disrespectful, sir. You chose to take off your headphones. You
Yeah,
choose
because
to
I'm
read.
muted. I'm muted.
So
So why am I gonna have my headphones on and I'm muted?
because she's talking to you, but she doesn't want you to talk to her in that time.
Well, I would think your headphones help you hear. The
They
muting
do.
is so that I don't have to hear the disruptions.
Okay, well then why should I need to hear what
So
you
let
saying?
me be clear, sir. And
You
you
don't
are
gotta
not.
be clear or nothing. I don't gotta listen to you.
Wow.
I will
she
ask you
has
one
to-
last time, sir. Who
He still doesn't get that she's the one in charge.
is your next witness?
First of all, is she talking to me again?
He.
So
This.
we gotta keep doing this little childish stuff, dude. I gotta sit up here and I'm supposed to abide by every single rule, but don't nobody else gotta do that.
No.
The record should
Judicial misconduct.
reflect that Mr.
Repeatedly.
Brooks is spouting off, making
I think
unsubstantiated
the record can hear me. I
allegations
think they can hear me.
against this court,
Unless I'm
directly
muted.
attacking the integrity of this court and these proceedings, while yet
This court ain't got no
refusing
integrity.
to answer
This court don't have
simple
no
questions. Mr. Brooks, you
That's
are,
not my name. I told you I don't consent to being called that name.
What is your name?
sir, you are hereby advised this is the last time I will ask this question.
Don't talk
Or
to me
you
like
will
that.
forfeit your right to present
Can't do
any
that. Show me what-
additional
show me
witnesses.
where that's law.
Because
Show
you
me
are
where
not
that's law.
cooperating with this process.
Show me that it's law. That's all I'm asking. Show me that it's lawful law.
He doesn't have
Mr.
to.
Brooks,
How can I forfeit not being able to have a defense? Are you kidding me?
all I'm asking is that you conduct yourself with dignity, with decorum, and with respect. I will
Okay.
gladly bring you back into this courtroom so you can present your additional witnesses.
You're
But
right.
you need to ask me to come back into this courtroom.
With all due
There you go.
respect, I'm tired of having this back and forth with you every day. It's not my intention to come in here and have these interactions with you every day. It's not. Regardless to what you may think, regardless to how you may feel, that is not my intention. Okay? I simply do what I do because I do not have the understanding. So if I don't understand something, I'm going to ask a question. I apologize if it makes you feel that I'm intentionally trying to delay the proceedings. If I'm intentionally trying to be disruptive. Because that's not the case.
It is.
And I feel very, 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 very disrespected every time the record is made, making it seem like that's what I'm attempting to do. So of
It's not that that's what you're attempting to do. It's what you are doing.
course it's gonna frustrate. Of course it's gonna make me a little bit upset.
A little.
And I just want you to understand that. It seems to me the way I'm interpreting what you're doing, which is it is your courtroom. That's not it. It's not a dispute. That's not up for debate. You control what's going on in there. That's not a dispute. But the way I'm interpreting what you're doing is that I'm being held in contempt. That's how I'm interpreting. Because one of the three things that's cited in the Illinois versus Allen, one of them is being gagged. I haven't been gagged. One of them is held in contempt. If
What's the
I'm- if
third,
I'm not
Mr.
under-
Brooks? What's the third?
The third is removed from the courtroom while the trial continues, right?
Yeah.
That's the third, right?
And that's what's been done.
Okay. So now, where does it say after that having me on a headset or being able to see and hear and all this and this, how is that not prejudicing my defense?
Sir, you can
I
raise
can't
that
even-
issue on
I can't-
appeal. You
This
can
is
raise
why I
that
say that.
issue on appeal if you are
This is why I say
convicted.
that. This is why I say that though, because I can't even see. The only thing I can see right now when I'm looking at the TV is you and the prosecution table. I can't see anything else.
I understand that, sir. I'm fully aware of that.
So I'm not fully aware of what's going on in the courtroom.
what's going on in the courtroom.
Don't I deserve that right to be able to see and hear everything that's going on?
No.
Everything that's going on?
If you can conduct yourself consistently with the decorum and respect inherent in the concepts of courts and judicial proceedings, the answer then is yes.
There you go.
So, I'm not going to have a debate with you about the law. Would you like to come back into this courtroom?
Are you going to kick me out?
Sir, I'm asking the questions right now.
Nice.
Would you like to come back into this courtroom? Yes or no?
Kick me out. Are you going to kick me out?
Sir, it's a yes or no question. Would you like to come back into this?
My answer was based on the reason why I'm answering like that is because the moment I say something, it's going to get me put out. I don't want to keep hauling this stuff back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. It makes essentially, it wastes time, really.
It does.
I'm well aware of that, sir. That it delays the proceedings.
But then it's laid at my feet as if that's my attempt. You think I want to be over here?
Sir,
Yes.
I don't know what you want or don't want at this time. I know that we need to complete this trial and that you have frustrated today more than ever before the ability of this court to do that.
Well, I apologize for you feeling that way, but I'm frustrated too. And nobody seems to take that into account. I'm
Yeah.
just as frustrated as everybody.
We don't care.
Probably more.
Then I suggest that you conform your conduct to the requirements of courtesy and decorum so that you don't run the risk of forfeiting your right to be present. But that falls on you and you alone, sir.
There is no conduct. I don't understand what you mean by that. I really don't.
Mr. Brooks, you may not understand it. I don't think that's accurate. I think you know exactly what you're doing.
Yeah.
If that's what you think, that's fine. I can't argue
And
with
you have
about your
demonstrated
opinion.
throughout this case that you pay attention to witnesses' testimony, that you make cogent and coherent objections. At times that you have even had evidence suppressed in this case or stricken.
It's not fair
Are
to
you
say-
self-represented? Absolutely. Does that present difficulties and disadvantages? Absolutely. But that takes me back to when you waived your right to counsel. And you did so knowingly, freely, voluntarily, and with a full understanding of the disadvantages and advantages of doing so, meaning advantages of having an attorney, the disadvantages of doing it on your own, and you made a deliberate decision to
Your Honor,
represent
that's not fair.
yourself, and that comes at a risk to you of, yes, at times not fully understanding the law, the rules of evidence, the rules of procedure, but you do
not
so
fair.
at your peril.
It's fair.
That's not fair to state, Your Honor, because
So I'm going to do the following, since I'm not really getting anywhere. I'm going to mute you for the moment. I'm not getting anywhere with him. I would like him to be brought over, and he has a choice to make. He can come back over, or he doesn't. Either way, he's going to be asked to call a witness in front of the jury. I will ask him 3 times if he fails to give me a direct answer, and after the 3rd time, I will make the appropriate finding, but I will do that outside the presence of the jury. But we are going to continue. So we'll go off the record, and he will come back over here. Thank you. We are in recess until that happens. The jury will be brought out.
All right. I'm going to leave it here. I just wanted to show all the aftermath, all the fighting, all that stuff after that. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Have a great day. Bye-bye.